Good afternoon. Welcome to the Town Hall for the School of Engineering. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Benedict. I'm in my third year of mechanical engineering here. A few of the things that I do on campus, I'm a regional advisor for the Engineering Society at UBC. I sit as the Vice President External for the Western Canadian organization. Vice President Finance Administration, for the Western Canadian organization, but I work very closely with the Engineering Society, and I also do sit as the representative for the Senate for the School of Engineering. I'll be helping to guide the conversation today. We have a few different topics that we're going to talk about, but throughout the conversation, we'll always ask for questions. This is a town hall, and we encourage everyone to get involved and ask any questions that they might have. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Sadiq, the Associate Dean for the School of Engineering.
Thanks, Benedict. Thank you, everybody, for coming this time of the day, especially this time of the semester. So, one thing which I learned, communication is never enough. And so we thought about having this town hall because there are so many activities are happening in the school, and we think that we have communicated enough and that information is not as properly disseminated to the students and what kind of initiatives we are doing, and sometimes it comes as a surprise. So the idea is to create this dialogue with all students who fully understand what's going on. So we were cooking this idea during summertime. We say, this is an opportunity for us to have a dialogue, open dialogue, and where the school is heading and what kind of initiatives we are taking based on some kind of feedback we get it from the students. So we are here because of students, and so whatever we do, we make sure that our main stakeholder is properly addressed, and so that's the approach we would like to take. And so I will be very glad if you have some concern, questions, and the most important thing, some nice suggestions and recommendations, which are, we know the challenges as a part of the growing school. We always go through challenges. This is nothing new here, but we have to build this school together. And as you just noticing that its growth is really, really fast. Nobody could have predicted that growth a few years back, neither us. And so there are some challenges, but I feel that where are the challenges, there opportunities are there as well. So we'll see how these questions and I will go, and I'll try my best to address those questions, and please feel free to speak up your mind, and I'll do my best to give you answers honestly.
As you mentioned, we're doing a lot of expansion and a lot of growth. So did you want to touch on the new programs and some of the options that are coming into the school?
Thanks, Benedict. So this is definitely one area which we've been doing many things in this front, both at undergrad level and the grad level. As just to give you just flavor that when we moved to this building in 2011, we had around 700 undergrad students. Now we have double in 6 years. Our undergrad students is around reaching to 1,350 to 1,400 students. So growth is remarkable in that sense. Not only that, our faculty size has almost the same number. I give you some idea about the scale, that we are almost 15 to 16% of the size of the whole applied science in terms of faculty members. But in last 4 years, our number of hirings were 27% of the total hirings done in applied science. So we are trying to do a very aggressive hiring process, which is basically the whole thing is about servicing our students. So now, if you see, traditionally we have 3 programs: electrical, mechanical, civil, which is considered as like a mothership of engineering program. But it only attracts 47% of the total student population who are interested in engineering. That's the international statistics. And so if we like to see our growth and also providing opportunities to our undergrad students especially, we need to provide more options. And there are some options which you see the statistics, and there are more, I would say, attractive to female students as compared to the male student. That's the statistics tells us. So we are trying to address those things, and also looking at the opportunities as well in a way where the employment is there, where is it enough industry interest there. So this is a multifaceted issue. So to address those kind of needs, So we have identified few programs, as you might have heard already or overheard about manufacturing program. So manufacturing program is coming. We in the last stages of approval. Our curriculum is approved and everything is approved at the Senate. As some of you might not know the process, there's an academic approval, and then there is an approval comes from the higher ed ministry, and we are waiting for the final approval. This will be a very unique program, because it will be the first program in the whole UBC system which will be jointly offered. So we are very proud of this program, the way we are planning to offer it, and we are in the stage of building this program, the curriculum. We have some hiring plans, so you will see lots of new faces if you are in the first year, second year, and will be joining our school. So manufacturing program is one thing which is, I'm expecting, fingers crossed, everything goes by plan. By 2019, that option will be available as a full as a major. Then we are working on, as you heard about, mechatronics option is approved, and it's coming soon, and it's available for first year student. We have some challenges to provide this option to our existing students in third year or fourth year, but this option is available for the first year students are entering into the system now. And I got really good feedback, not only from the students, also from their parents actually. They are excited about these options available to our electrical and mechanical students. We have some serious discussions going on in terms of our biomedical option that will with Faculty of Health and Social Development here on this campus, and that again, these things are a little bit bureaucracy around it in terms of approvals and all those kind of things. So I will be constantly updating this information to, especially to your leadership group, that where we are on this, and we have built some task force, and we are working with at this moment with Faculty of Health and Social Development. Going on around which we just initiated some discussion around aerospace engineering is one area which we know that lots of students have an interest, and there is a huge market out there for to absorb those type of graduates. And there are some on this related topic, we have some professional master's program discussion around health and technology, again with Faculty of Health and Social Development. That will be again a possibility in the future. It depends on many approvals and hurdles you can expect, but this is the vision we are trying to build. And I know for sure our civil group is working on one option on infrastructure management side option. That will be a very similar option as will be available of like mechatronics option to electrical and mechanical folks. And this is also meeting the industry needs as well. For each discipline have very specific job market. So we have to make sure that we train our students in a way so they have a higher marketability, as well as they have some kind of a difference with other schools. In Canada, we have 44 engineering programs, and we have 44 engineering schools. So what's so special about our school? We really like to create that flavor in this school. If you say you're coming into this school, you've been trained in that way, you've been taught in that way, so that you have better chances in terms of your success, either as a grad student at some point or going for the job market. So generally, everything that we do in the university environment always add 2 years to it. So we have started, we have some ideas, and we made a task force in our school who's looking into that option. And my expectation is within a 2 years time, it should be available to most likely to mechanical student, I'm expecting, or maybe electrical students as well, depending on which direction we will take in terms of aerospace engineering, because it could be anything. So we don't know yet at this point. And another thing is that we would like to build our aerospace as an option on the pillar around manufacturing. So that's one area which we might move into that direction. The way options work most likely is, if it is approved by then, there are so many factors which I cannot predict at this point, but I would love to see this option available as soon as possible. But mechatronics option, we went into practicality of it. Then we realized, maybe this option is not available right away for the students. I cannot promise, but we definitely have intention to come to these options should be available to students as soon as possible. This is the biggest challenge in the university environment, especially in the public university environment like us. Where we have ambitions to grow and resources follow it. It takes time to follow it. I just give you a little bit history to this. When we become a school of engineering in 2005, and when we moved to this building, it was 2011 and 2005. So there was yes, we were in the process. So at this stage, we are working with our senior administration on this campus on various options of getting more space. I cannot disclose all the information at this point, but there are lots of initiatives going on which are looking for spaces. So this is high. If you ask me what I do, this is what 50% of my time is spent on strategizing for more space. So this is on highest on our agenda. It's not only the academic part, student experience part is the biggest thing. Which, when you come to undergrad student or as a grad student, what kind of experience you have? It's student clubs, space for grad student, for example, in your case. So those things are our priority. We are trying to work with our administration on this campus, but you can imagine any capital investment requires a lot of time and planning. So we are working on it. I can assure you and everybody sitting here that we are working on it. This is our top priority at this point, to find more space, not only for academics, but for research and student experience. Everything together, we are trying to work on it. And you might hear something very soon. Civil is definitely infrastructure management, which I mentioned. I know there are some few faculty members are interested around environmental side as well. So best, I would say, it comes from the student. If students show the need, we will respond to that. This is what really I like to have through this dialogue. If you, as a group, especially you are in the leadership role, you're part of those kind of rally those things, and we say, these are the options if available, that will be great. We'll see the practicality of it, but then definitely we respond to that. So we think at this point, okay, these options have high demand, let's do that. So, but I will be very receptive, and I'm sure our director will be very receptive to this kind of feedback. And this is what I will definitely want from this town hall. Not only now, there are lots of ways you can provide us feedback, and please do that. And so I cannot promise on every single thing, but what I promise, we can take all your recommendations very seriously, because it makes a lot of sense for us to respond what students want. So I think, back to your question, yes, I'm very open. If something else is of interest and there's enough resources we already built on in certain areas, so we will definitely move in that direction. Let's say myself as a civil engineer, I can think of green buildings, for example. If that is an interest and job market is there, we should address this. So, and students have an interest. We want to make sure that it's practical to offer those kind of options. We don't want two students taking that. It is very expensive, and we don't want to waste our resources into those details.
I think that addresses the whole space issue. But is this the same for scheduling as well? I know it's
yeah, so scheduling is definitely a challenge. You can see we have to live with our existing spaces. Again, a little bit statistics to some of you might not know. On this campus, in 2005, we have only 3,500 students. Now we have 10,000, three-fourths. And I don't think so space increased by the same ratio, just to give you an idea. So there is, so it's not only School of Engineering is in this situation, the whole campus is in this situation. So scheduling becomes what we have tried to do considering you're all engineers, so you understand very well how to optimize it. So we said what our priorities are. One of the priorities, we don't want to have classes very late. So we did our best. Our staff is working very hard to make sure statistics I received is only 2 classes, I think, over the whole year are after 6:30. Which is, I believe, is remarkable considering the spaces issues we have. I'm also expecting that with the new library, there will be a lot of pressure on smaller rooms will be ease up. So it will be much better in the future, because we're expecting this will be online this semester, which didn't happen. So we are working on those. Another thing which I think was raised before, in terms of making sure that providing more support from TAF point of view, because now we are increasing a little bit size of our those tutorials. So then it's also lower the pressure in that sense. So we try to resource in all possible ways. We tried many things. Sometimes certain things work, sometimes certain things don't work that efficiently. But to address this scheduling issue, I think the biggest part is making sure classes are not till 8 o'clock. We understand there's a lot of homework, a lot of assignment for you guys. So it doesn't make any sense to engage students in the classes till 8 o'clock in the night. So there might be 1 or 2 cases, but overall what I understand, We have teaching task force. We're working very hard, making sure these things are done. Another important thing, we are providing more and more options for fourth year students for technical electives. And we are also working, making sure that they are not in conflict, so students can take more courses. So these are the very tiny details, but I can, guarantee that our staff is well aware of those things. And please keep, if you have certain concern or maybe some very specific recommendation, make sure you talk to Renee. Definitely look into it. I cannot say something on this right away, but definitely we'll look into it. Yeah.
I know one really big discussion too that has been surrounding the campus too is student mental health, and I was wondering if there was anything that the School of Engineering is doing to tackle that and making sure that our students feel mentally prepared for their studies in engineering.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this very specific topic is very personally very close to my heart, and this has been raised in a voice survey as well. And we have been in discussions, and I sit on the deans across Canada, and this issue, especially around engineering programs, I think the most common topic is discussed about the pressure on our undergrad, especially undergrad students, and if you say within undergrad students, especially on the first year students. So there are lots of challenges in terms of a certain transition from high school to university environment. It's a very different place, and expectations are very different as well. So we try to address one of the things which so we built a task force and this summer, and so we wanted to have this thing very I would say engaged, where students' participation is the most important. They are the one who is the receiving end of it. So we don't want to do something which directly impact them, or at least we like to see their view, how they perceive it. So you have your leadership, and I know Meena, Dr. Hufar, who's our director, is chairing that task force. So they worked on it in summer, and they make certain recommendations. One of the important one I will tell you is definitely an option in terms of a 5-year degree plan, for example. Many students even don't know that this kind of things exist. And what I heard from Renee sitting here, that out of our first year student, 80 students approach her about this option. This is wonderful actually. So students don't feel themselves as a failure if somehow they are not able to do well. This is extremely important because engineering attracts very high quality students, and if we shake up their confidence in the first year, many of the students will feel that they are not good enough, and they start issues, many other issues like homesickness sometimes, and many of our even domestic students are not from the town. They're living on their own. Sometimes they are just be under too much pressure, and they're not, there's some kind of a shame factor. People sometimes don't tell anybody what they're suffering. So there are needs. One thing else we have done is we have increasing our size of advisory group. Our advisory group is more better resource now. So what I really encourage through this platform is to make sure, as you see anybody needs an help, you have to make sure that this is being communicated to us in one way or another. I understand the confidentiality, I understand all issues around it, but it is very important that we don't make we provide those students some options. Because at this stage, or historically, the way engineering has been done, there's a lot of history to engineering. I mean, engineering has always been a male-dominated profession where we're being very macho. And I was an undergrad student. Those kind of things people used to say. Oh, look at your left, look at your right. One of them will not make it in the final. This is kind of language is very, people say in a proud way, but absolutely this is the main problem here, because we are not addressing the problem here. What we are trying to demean, and people feel that way. So I feel this task force recommendations we try to follow as much as possible. We need to have a constant dialogue. It's not a one-time thing. It's not a good idea. And what I encourage from the student perspective, you should, talk to your NSOC group, make sure that constant feedback. If we make any change and how it's impacting students, we should also try to address it. For very small thing, for example, professors are giving, professor wants you to do design project, for example, and put a same deadline. Definitely is going to be a nervous breakdown for somebody, because you have to deliver so many things at a time. So we try to make sure those things are coordinated better within our professors. They understand, okay, XYZ course has this deadline and other course has this deadline. So with small things, if we distribute the workload over the semester, I feel we will have way better results than what we have now. And most important thing is an open dialogue, making sure that resources are available not only in the schools, resources are available as in the university level as well. So please encourage, spread this word, make sure students should know about it. That's the most important thing, and that's why we are having this town hall. The idea is to talk about all these things in an open and candid environment.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions regarding mental health or any of the initiatives that
So just build on one thing which we haven't done much, I believe. I will encourage your NSOC and maybe your grad students, EGSS. Think about some ideas where we can have beyond academic activities with faculty. I'll be very supportive of those kind of suggestions if we can think about something. I know our professors are very lazy for sitting here, but I'd love to have some activity which we will do together. I think we need to break this ice. This is very important, and it really ease up the relationships and also understand why certain decisions are made. It's not issues around penalizing anything, and we just basically want your success and maintaining high quality. That's our job as an academic. So I will definitely encourage your both groups to think about it and come up with some recommendations, and we'll try to respond. My job is to find the resources.
Right. And also, like, students really shouldn't be very afraid to approach the Engineering Society or the EGSS with these concerns, because we do have the power to talk to the faculty, and we're happy to do that on behalf of students. So yeah.
Yeah, and one thing which I'd like to mention here, as you might have heard about homecoming, our first homecoming is happening, and you will be, I think there will be some communication will happen very soon. And basically, idea is to bring our alumni here. So we are very, very proud, right? Our first graduates or second graduates in 9, 10, 11 in 2011, those people are wanted to come back, and many of them are very successful people now within a few years' time. So I think that's a really big motivator for our current students. So I really am looking forward for that event. So this is our first homecoming for this campus, and we have some special events. So please participate in it. So, and especially would like to see in their interaction with our current students and our alumni. So I don't think I have an answer for that, but we definitely look into it. I will definitely talk to the people who are making these arrangements, make sure there is something around those things. Yeah. First year number is definitely, I cannot be very brag about it, but it's better than before. I think it's around 20% or something, 18%. Is getting better and better. We have some faculty members who are taking this initiative now. I think we are pretty aggressive in that, especially in this sphere, and we like to promote more and more. And what my understanding is primarily is type of programs we offer. I think it's definitely going to change. What I hear, very interesting thing from new director of School of Biomedical Engineering in Vancouver, they have 50%, first time in applied science history, they see 50-50 in undergrad, second year student, which is perfect actually. So, because it's nature of the program, applied science has been in business for more than 100 years, they never reached to that level. So we are talking about, we set some goals, they are very optimistic, and that's how the goal should be by 2030. That's our vision, to have a 50-50. I know University of Toronto is really coming up, raising their numbers in terms of the female participation in their faculty. But I'm very confident that definitely we will be at par with the applied science by 2030. You guys, especially our female students are our best, I would say, ambassadors. You have to go out to younger girls, and any events we like to promote, please work with Renee, and we have some people who are taking it very seriously, and they would like to promote. Not only this is one underrepresented group. The other underrepresented group is our indigenous group, and we have some initiatives. And one of our faculty members has this is his mission. He's working on it, and I think our numbers are way better than Vancouver. By the way, we have 3% of our students are indigenous students, which is wonderful actually. I really like to see very soon same representation as they are part of the the same proportion as a part of the population, which is 6%. So engineering is always perceived as, okay, it's a difficult profession, don't go. This is the perception issues here. So this is our own problem. We need to, get out of those barriers and make sure that attract those students here. They're really, really high quality students. It brings diversity in various types of diversity. Other diversity is around internationalization. And UBC, as a part of our like any university in campus applied science, around 30% international. We have only 15% international, 16% international students in our undergrad. So those numbers should increase as well. So I like to see a really diverse group, very motivated group, and the true representation of a UBC.
One other thing too that we could definitely talk about. I know that the School of Engineering is currently undergoing the accreditation with the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board. I was wondering if you wanted to speak to that, what the accreditation process looks like.
Sure. So as many of you know, engineering is a regulated profession, and so we go through our accreditation. That's all the engineering programs in Canada go through accreditation process. So our first accreditation, which happened in 2009. So all the new programs get this accreditation only for 3 years, and then we went for our first cycle of accreditation in 2012, where we got the accreditation for all our 3 programs for 6 years. So this is our year for accreditation. So we submitted the report. We are very excited, and our team really worked hard for past 1 year. They're working on accreditation, and students' involvement is extremely important. So we like to see a more involvement in students, and there will be more communication will happen with students once the team will be visiting us. It will be, I believe, is 19th and 20th of November. I think these are the dates, and the team will be coming. It's a full day events, and they will be meeting with students, undergrad students, grad students. Most likely not grad students, but they might, because of their role as a TAs, because it's about undergrad program. Then they will be meeting with professors. They also meeting with industry partners, community partners, university senior administration. We have submitted our detailed documentation about our programs. So it's a very involved process. It's basically auditing. They're going to audit our program, and they pick randomly some students, see their path, how they're doing, we make promise. Every student has done specific numbers of design credits or engineering science credits or complementary studies credits, so they can check those things. So the idea is to be at par with any other program in Canada, or to be better. So I really encourage all of you to look into it when the accreditation team will come, and see if your possibility of participating in it any possible way.
Cool.
I don't want to answer something which I'm not sure. But I will definitely figure it out from Dr. Tennant, who is our lead on it, and respond to this. I'm not sure. Yeah. One other thing which I like to mention here, we try to bring a lot of industry partners, and sometimes they are looking for students in terms of their job opportunities, co-op opportunities, and it happens in the past that sometimes we have events and no students show up. And I think it's a great opportunity, so keep an eye on those opportunities. I know there are some groups are coming in very soon, and SOC will be involved, and we'll be communicating with you or potential opportunities. So please don't miss out those opportunities. So you might be getting into some really good organization because you are the only one who show up. You never know. So keep an eye on those opportunities. So we work hard. We have our own business development person who's going out, making sure, bringing those people on campus. And there are opportunities, I know for sure. So please keep an eye on those opportunities.
One question at least I had. I know that a lot of students do talk about cross-campus collaboration and what that could look like. And so I was wondering, what exactly is the stance of the School of Engineering with regards to cross-campus collaboration, or possibly doing cross-campus courses? I know that we offer one mechanical course online with them. Does the School of Engineering look at possibly introducing more cross-campus collaboration?
Yeah, I think I'm personally for it, 100%. I think any student sitting here or in Vancouver should have an access to whatever the mechanism we can do to offer this. Sometimes logistics are so complicated, especially for undergrad students, where they have to rush from one class to another. But our proposed program on manufacturing engineering program, this is completely built on this idea. And I don't remember exact number, but at least there are, I would say 10% courses are basically offered this way. That's how we are thinking. The reason behind is maybe a twofold. One is definitely we'd like to increase this collaboration. Another thing is it optimize our resources, because we want, if we hire 7 or 8 people here in manufacturing program and the same numbers will be hired in Vancouver, we want then these expertise are complementary to each other. So we would like to offer some courses, and we'd like our students have an access to those courses which are specialized courses. Not every course, but some specialized courses which we will not offer anyway. Those access is extremely important. I think it's a little bit of UBC issue. I know Faculty of Medicine is doing very nicely on that, but again, their numbers are small. But in our case, you can see your own timetable is so packed. It's very hard for the logistics itself make it complicated. Other than that, in principle, I fully support it. And I will definitely bring this thing to James again, and James know about it, our dean, and he will be very supportive. Maybe we should start with 1 or 2 pilot courses, and maybe put some cap on the number of students who take it. But it's definitely increased the value for our students to take certain specialized courses.
What would you say is the most exciting thing that's coming in the School of Engineering's future?
My honest opinion on that is the kind of students we are attracting now. We are the most diverse domestic student population in whole Canada. We have only 28% student because we don't have that kind of population base. I think that diversity within even our own domestic student population is huge. If you see any other school, let's even go to UBC Vancouver, 80-90% students, domestic students, are coming from Lower Mainland. That's reality. We have only 27 or 28% are coming from Okanagan. So I think that's the most exciting thing. I say the type of students we attract is a very different group of domestic students. We are also making our name now in terms of our international student numbers are increasing, which is really wonderful from the diversity point of view. But and also this thing also attracting some really high quality professors on this campus. And so as I said, every year we are hiring 5-6 people. So, and we are hiring from every part of the world. So we are attracting really good. So school is making its name, and this is very exciting. I think we are in a very interesting stage as a school. And we have a lot of competition, by the way, out there within BC as well. But I think we're doing well, and there's a lot of room for improvement. And we are working on some vision for the school, which we call it 25 by 25. I like to see our school going to be a school of around 2,500 students, and by year 25, which has many other options and minors are available for our students, and also very research heavy school, which is extremely important. And I really just few days back I was in innovation center in downtown, and glad to see actually Dr. Chow is sitting here, one of his students who made a startup. It's really wonderful when you hear from the student, and I asked him this question actually, that what is the most important thing you learn being a student here? And his answer was to learn about complex decision making, complex problem solving. This is what he learned. And I think that's a big thing in a way. I really like to see more and more students are moving in this direction, and we see an opportunity to become entrepreneurs, and not just looking for traditional engineering jobs. I think that makes me really excited, if you ask me.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Just want to keep asking for questions, making sure that if anyone's thought of something that they really want to ask, making sure that it gets caught before our time is up. I also wanted to ask, we do have 2 minors, the minor in computer science and minor in management. I was wondering if you would want to comment on the current state of them, how successful they are right now.
So one thing, I just give you some idea why the idea around computer science came up. This city has, I see the latest statistics, Okanagan Valley has $1.7 billion industry around tech industry. And so I feel personally, this is my biased opinion, engineers are the best one to fit into that. They need a little bit of special training, whether through just spending, taking one semester extra to do a computer science minor, because they're well trained already, or somebody is more entrepreneurial and they take this minor. So this is an opportunity for students. It's not an extra work, and I'm looking for it. So I know there are some students, I don't know the statistics, how many students are opting for this thing. Sometimes from student perspective, oh, by just spending an extra semester, I should have gone outside. But it is a lot of academic value to it. And statistics tells us only 10 to 15% students come back to school once they graduate. That's in statistics. So it's an opportunity for students to make sure while they are in school, spend an extra semester. If they can do it within 4 years, that's wonderful. But I know engineering program is not that easy program. But there's an opportunity for all of the students to look into these things very seriously. It is a life-changing experience, whether you're a civil engineer, electrical, mechanical, doesn't matter. If you are looking for a very specific role in the future, and this industry is employing, tech industry is employing more than 13,000 people in the valley, with a big number considering the small size of the valley. So we are expecting huge growth here within the valley. So I would like to see our students are working in tech sector as well, not traditional electrical, mechanical, civil jobs only. And this is what I heard from the many people in working in the tech sector in Vancouver. They say, they prefer sometimes engineering students over, maybe traditional science students, because they have this kind of design skills and other things. So I like to see our students are taking these opportunities, arm themselves with a new type of knowledge around computer science or maybe entrepreneurship. There might be more minors, there are lots of discussions with other faculties. More options will be available, but I really encourage students to make best use of those opportunities.
I was wondering if you just had anything that you wanted to say that
Yeah, most important thing is, as I said in the beginning, I feel there's a lot of room for communication, and I like to make sure that we will do it on a regular basis. I'm more than happy if you want to have your own student run something, you want me to come, I'll come, or I'll talk to Dr. Hurfa or whoever is available will be working with you, and as well as with grad students. So they want to hear something and they have very specific challenges. We'll be very happy to address those things. And please don't be shy. You have to reach out and we have to address those things. And you have to understand our constraints as well. Sometimes you think it's possible and we realize later on, no, it's not going to work that way. So if more open and frank we are with each other and work together to build this school. 25 by 25 is not my vision only. We want to build a school which everybody owns it. And you take a pride in one day, then you are a graduate of that school.
Very much.